Hello everyone, I'm Susan Boback, the card connoisseur, and I've been focusing on using these arch dies for many different shapes. So with Valentine's Day coming up, I thought I would show you some variations of projects with the domes. To the left here, you see a few different hearts that I've made, and I just discovered this yesterday by another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator where you take these two dome or arch shapes, same size, just cross them over and glue them like this, and there's a heart. Doesn't have to be for Valentine's Day. You could use them on the front or the inside of any card or with any paper project. So first I'd like to show you something that I did that's kind of like from elementary school. Not everyone has a set of dies or a die cut machine or a Cricut or even a punch that punches out a heart. And I'd like to just show you as a reminder to some, maybe some of you have never done this, how you can make the heart shape to use on a card without having the other tools. So how I created this one was, as you can see on the front of this card, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strips of paper that I've lined up. And the two center ones here are actually separate, but I'll show you how I put them together to make this heart. Now you would just take any paper and fold it exactly in half. And of course, I didn't do it exactly in half. But you would fold it exactly in half, as much as is possible. Then you would take your scissors, and you're going to start at the fold and just go up. And remember to turn your paper, not your scissors. So you just keep cutting, but now you're coming back down towards the fold. I'm sure that most of you would have done this in elementary school. So then here's the heart that you could either use on this card or another one. And here's the piece that has the heart cut out in the middle. So how I attached it to the front of this card was I put, I think for the purpose of even strips, I had cut it into two, but I took a piece of gold metallic paper, as you can see here, and I put it down first, and then I placed the heart on top of it like this. So that's how you could make a heart design. I think that's very straightforward and very simple. That's how I did the front. And actually, I was just playing around with making heart shapes without these tools. Now, here I'm going to show you the inside of the card, and this is not my original design. I saw this on Instagram. I believe it was a teacher's project for her students, but I just loved it so much. And I'm kind of into pop-up cards. So take a look at this again. You open it up, and when you stretch it out, the heart goes forward. This says, I can barely wait to ask you, will you be my Valentine? In my own writing. I don't have a stamp that says that, but sometimes I think your own writing is actually just as much fun. So I'm going to show you how to put together this bear and how to make a circle of paper into this pop-up heart. I'm just going to set that up here. Okay, so I use the 2.5 inch arch on this. And again, I want to remind you that if you don't have these arches, you can take any round object, a cover of the pickle jar or the peanut butter jar, or even a large button, which is what could be used to make the ears, or even just cut them by hand. Use a paper corner rounder and start with your rectangle and make some round shapes. So what I really attracted me about this is that I used an old dictionary page, and the original pattern that I saw was printed paper, and I think that makes it just a little more interesting. So I went through my stash, which I'm going to encourage you to do each time, and I found this paper that had the horizontal and vertical lines, and I thought that would make a perfect bear. So we're going to start out like this. And then I cut 2 circles with a die, but you wouldn't necessarily have to use a die. As I said, you could use the circle of a jar, some kind of packaging, maybe your toothpaste or your shampoo has a cover like this. And they don't have to be this big. These are 1 3/4 inches across, but they don't have to be this big. I wouldn't actually not cut them any larger. So what you're going to do then is you're just going to build it on your workspace just to see how it goes together. And it doesn't quite look like a bear yet, does it? And then you're going to take 2 little rectangles. These are 3/4 of an inch across, and about an inch long. It doesn't have to be these sizes, but it just goes with the proportions of the bear, and these are going to be his paws. And then you're going to end up gluing them on there like that. And then as you can see on this one here, you're going to, with a black marker or brown marker, whatever you prefer, you're going to make 2 eyes, a triangle for the nose, and then a snoot, a mouth, okay? So since I've been into junk journaling now for about the last 6 months, I've learned the advantage of adding the brown ink around the side, which in junk journaling makes it look old. I think this makes it look more like a bear. So that's what we're going to do first with these pieces. Now, I've been using this pecan pie ink, and I've been just taking my pieces and just rubbing it around like this. You can see how it's coming brown. Maybe it's too brown for you, not brown enough for me there. That looks a little more like a bear. And then you're going to do the same thing to the other side. Remember, they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to match. You're just adding some color, and again, using up your paper stash. So there's those 2 pieces. Then I have the 2 paws. I'm going to do the same thing, but I want to show you how you can do this if you just had a marker and you didn't have a large pad. Now this is a water-based marker. I'm not using an alcohol base, so I can't tell you about that, but you certainly can try it. So these are the Stampin' Right markers, same color, pecan pie, and you can just go around the edges like this. Another thing that I like to do with the brown is that most paper, at least paper, not cardstock, but paper, has a white edge. And I like to take the marker and go around here like this and cover up that white edge. I think it really gives it more, if you want to say, definition. I really like using, the way this looks now, I really like using the ink pad. And you can also take a sponge dauber and you can put that in your ink and use that to daub on the color. So now I'm just going to finish the edges of the body. And because I am going to use a brown marker to make the eyes, nose, and mouth, I'm going to make sure that I don't put too much brown in the center. So you're just going to go like this. This can be, I think, very fun. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's a perfect way to use up the rest of your papers. I'm always promoting that, ways to use up your papers. And if you haven't already heard me say this, I like to, after a season of papers, now in Stampin' Up, new papers come out about every 4 months in a catalog. And then every month, there's new products that are available online that are called online exclusives. But where was I going with that? I like to encourage people that after the season of the papers, now maybe these are Valentine papers, maybe I'm pretty sure I've already seen the springtime papers that are coming out. Once you've used them for that season, I encourage you to sort them. If there's not enough for you to keep in a collection, I encourage you to sort them according to colors. And then when you're looking for colors to do a certain holiday, this is poinsettias from Christmas. This is plaid paper on the other side from Christmas, but we've got St. Patrick's Day coming up. So now I've sorted my papers in reds, pinks, greens. I'll be sorting out in purple, yellow, and green for Easter coming up the first weekend in April. So I think you get the idea. So now we're going to just put a little glue on the lower part of the ear. Now I use this Tombow glue. I have other glues, but I find this most convenient for me, maybe because I've used it so much. So just get the ear on there. The rectangle lines don't have to be going in the same direction. But I did notice that on the original pattern, the ears kind of come together in the middle of the head. And if you've looked at any pictures of a bear, or seen any of the crazy wild reels and videos online, the bear's ears aren't that big and they are close together. So how does that look? That kind of is starting to look more like a bear, wouldn't you say? And now I'm going to put on the paws. I think this would be fun to do with a child too. I've done many crafts with my grandchildren or homeschool kids at the library, and kids would really surprise you. If you haven't worked with kids, kids really surprise you at their interest and their ability to even make it a little better in ways that you haven't thought of. So let's see, let's look at this again. Here's the eyes, kind of right a little bit off center. And then the nose is right in the center. So before I put them on there, I don't think you have to use a scoreboard for this. I probably should have done this first. I think I'm gonna make the ears come off. Well, let's just try it. I'm gonna fold it exactly in half because on this card, the center of the bear has to go right in the fold of the card so that it folds up so that the heart actually goes from being small like this, folded up, to opening up like this, okay? So now I've got him here. I'm making a nice crease there. Before you start this project, if you want to score it and make that line down the center, maybe it'll be easier for you to do that. Of course, go right ahead and do that. So now that I know where the center is, and looking at my other bear here, it's about 3/4 of an inch from the top and about 1/4 of an inch over from the center. So I think this is where I'm going to put the eye, right here. And yes, I'm just eyeing it up, if you want to say that. And then I've got to have a triangle nose. You can do this in black. Actually, you could do it in any color you wanted. And then I'm going to come down here. And because that line is right across there, I want the face, the mouth to have a little definition. So I'm not going to use this rectangular line that goes straight across. I'm just going to go a little bit lower here, a little bit darker, and then I'm going to come up, little curved line up. Now doesn't that look like the cutest little bear? Now we're going to set him aside, and we're going to work with a circle of paper, and we're going to fold it and glue a portion of it together. And I just realized I did not bring my red marker to my workspace here. And that, I think, is absolutely necessary. Now, I have tried this with cardstock, and I think cardstock is too thick. But you certainly can try it with any weight paper, but this is just computer paper. And this size of this circle is about 2.5. But again, you can try it with bigger ones. I don't know about smaller ones, but just for the convenience of staying straight, I have folded it in half. You can see the crease here. Just to keep my folds, you're going to go back and forth just to keep them on an even keel, okay? You can practice this. I have done this several times and come up with a way that works the best for you. So you're going to just start. You're going to need to use these very first folds on each end. So don't make this too narrow. I'd say make it about 1/4 of an inch. Does that look like 1/4 of an inch? Okay, so then you're going to fold it back and forth. I saw Claire of Crafting the Ottaway. I saw her do this, so I didn't come up with this one myself either. And you can see, yes, it is a little crooked, but I think it's going to be all right. And so just crease it really good, and then just keep folding it back and forth. And I would say if you had a lot, like this one is a little bit wider on this side than it is on this side. Can you see that? I would say it would be better to have a wider one than a skinnier one. And now you're just going to take it, find the center as best as you can, fold it in half, and really pinch it together there. There's no need to get your scoring tool out and making a score line. It is kind of thick. So you're going to do that, okay? And open it up again. And now this side, let's see, okay. The two sides of this outer flap, can you see that? These, we're going to put a dab of glue here, and you're going to glue it up here like this. So this is a precaution now. Don't put too much glue there so that the whole thing sticks together. And this is experience talking now. Just a little bit of glue like that. And now just fold it in, pinch it, and hold it. Now, I don't know what kind of glue you're going to use, but this Tombow glue gets kind of tacky, and I'm just going to keep it together for a little while here so that it stays together nicely. So then when it is glued together, it's going to look like this. And you can see, I think, that it kind of does look like a little heart. And how it's going to work to be your pop-up here is you're going to take this other flap without dismantling that there. You're going to try to pull it out just a little bit here. Might have to pinch the center together again. Can you see that? Holding the center and now keeping that flat. Now I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Again, you don't want this glue to get on the other folds because they have to open in order for this to work. Now, ideally, it would have been smart to take my red marker and add my red around the heart here beforehand. But when I made the first one, I didn't do that till afterwards. I forgot. And so I think it turned out okay. But now I don't have it here, and I don't want to put brown. So now here's another reason you need to have that fold line in the center. You're just going to take it, and I think the best way to do it is to fold it up again, and with this one glue side and with the point of the heart right down in the fold, you're going to press it down, put that point right there. I want to show this a little closer. See how the edge of the heart is right in the fold. Then you're going to fold this piece over and press down holding it there a little while to make sure that your glue is tacky enough to hold it. Put a little pressure, and then when you open it up, oh, it didn't stick. You can put your fingers down in there and press it down. So when you open it up, it's going to open up. Now it doesn't necessarily look as much like a heart. I think I have it on backwards. So I'm going to see if I can take it off. So here's a lesson to you. When you glue it on, make sure that the fold, now I'm just guessing at this, make sure that the fold part of this last little flap is facing towards the nose. Okay, let's try that again. I'll put it down there, lay it over the top, press it down firmly, and so when I open it, it doesn't have enough glue on it. Now this tells me that maybe this circle is a little bit too small. Maybe I needed a bigger circle. I'm going to go like that, press it open a little bit, and I think it looks like a heart. It's a little lopsided, but once you're sure it's stuck on there, you can push it up, you know, a little more so that it would start to go that way. So open, no, close and open, close and open. Well, my heart is crooked. So then what you're going to do then is you're going to decide what you want to put on the inside of the card. And this is what I had said to you. Of course, you're going to decide what you want on the outside too. But then this is what I had said. You're going to have to decide what you want. Now, like I said, I didn't have any Valentines, Valentine sayings until I looked, and I did find some Valentine stamps that came from a paper pumpkin kit. But I didn't really like what they said. So I encourage you to do whatever you want. You can leave it blank. You can just stamp "Be My Valentine," whatever you want, but I just couldn't resist putting "barely" there. So this is pink paper. I'll have to do the front of it later. So I'm going to put the bear right here, and we're going to attach it the same way that we attached the heart here. Is we're going to put the glue on the back here. I didn't put any right on the fold because I thought if it didn't stick right, the whole thing might fall apart. Okay, so I'm going to place just one side down right here, close to that line. And then I'm going to push this side over and rub along here. And let's see how our bear opens. I like it. Even if it, I think as soon as I put some red, and you can see how crooked this is, as soon as I put some red around here, I think it will be assumed that it's a heart. Now, you could also, if you have a little stamp like this, if you have stickers, here's some older Stampin' Up! Stickers. You could put them along the side. You could just, like I said, "Be mine," or "I love you," or "You're the cutest," or "You're grandma's favorite," or there's so many things you could write in it. You could even write "Happy birthday, sending you my love," or something, sign your name. It doesn't have to be perfect on the inside like any card. Remember, it's your artwork. It does not have to be perfect. Maybe I could put this on the front. I could always take, oh gosh, I love this. I love this gold. And I was thinking, you know, I could put that on there and leave a little pocket here. And maybe there's a little note that the person was going to pull out that's going to say a little message there. All right, so that's this card. I hope you will keep following me now because I have 2 other projects that I've made with these arch dies. And here's some other papers that I pulled together out of my stash that I thought would make a cute bear. So it looks like I'm going to be making some bearly cards in the future here. I have that one. I like paper. I'm, for some reason, really drawn to paper that has the old writing, so I could use that side. Or if I wanted, I could make a very fancy gold bear. And I have a bigger circle here that I did cut out by hand. I think I might have used this as the base and then cut it bigger. So remember, you can also cut a circle like you cut a heart. So again, thanks for coming by, seeing what I'm making with arches. I encourage you to contact me if you have any questions, and just use your collected papers. You could even use a piece of newspaper here. This is a book page. Get creative with what you have, okay? Thanks for watching. Now go get creative and make some fun.